Scott and Mark Kelly are the only identical twin brother astronauts in history. But when Scott got back to Earth after spending almost a year in space, he is no longer an identical twin because his genetic code has completely changed. What is happening? This is InformOverload, where we overload you with information. I'm Charlotte Dobre. Identical twins are twins that are derived from one fertilized egg, which means they have completely identical DNA. But it appears that spending an extended period of time in space can actually change your genetic code. As part of an experiment to examine the effects of space, the Kelly brothers were kept apart for almost a year. Mark was kept on Earth and Scott spent 340 days aboard the ISS. When he got home, he was 2 inches taller, his gut bacteria were different, and his entire body mass decreased. But not only that, according to NASA, his DNA changed significantly. The statement from NASA suggested that the physical and mental stresses of Scott Kelly's year aboard the ISS may have activated hundreds of space genes that altered the astronaut's immune system, bone formation, eyesight, and other bodily processes. Explain that, flat earthers! Sorry, I had to say it. Since being back on Earth for the last 2 years, Scott has actually shrank back to his original size, and many of the other changes brought on by the year in space also reverted. But around 7% of Scott's genetic code remains changed, and it's probably gonna stay that way. So what can we take away from this? Being in space changes your biology. It can degrade your cells, assemble new ones, it can turn genes on and off, and that changes cellular function. All of this thanks to zero gravity and less oxygen. They cause what is known as space stress, and that's why NASA is studying it so closely. Eventually humans are going to be in space for extended periods of time, like when we go to Mars, and we need to properly understand what being in space does to our bodies before that. Alrighty, that is all I have for you on that. I'm going to respond to some comments now. Galaxy Fox said, Charlotte! Today is the youngest you will ever be again and the oldest you have ever been. I like that, except the idea of being old. That random kid said, Charlotte, how do you look so pretty? Like your hair and outfits are always flawless. Never change or leave IO. I'd die if you did. Thank you for the compliment, that's very kind. I've gotten ready down to a science, cause if I don't look on point, I'll hear about it in the comments. Karuto Kirito said, Charlotte, did you know that a blue whale can make a fart bubble so huge it can hold a horse? I did not, but that is amazing. That's all folks, thanks for watching. If you feel informed after watching that video, make sure you give us a thumbs up and subscribe to IO for the weirdest news on YouTube. If you want to go on an IO binge, check out this playlist right over here. By the way, we are on social media, check out the description of this video for mine and IO's Instagram handles. Okay, the video is really over now.